Welcome to Wild and Exposed, your number one adventure, nature, and outdoor photography podcast. Wild and Exposed is hosted by Mike Amaro, Ron Hayes, Jason Loftus, and Mark Raycroft. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, welcome to the photo contest recap episode of Wild and Exposed. We're just going to do this before our regular podcast. Now, this contest was sponsored by LensCoat, Cotton Carrier, Wild and Exposed podcast, and then we had an additional prize from Maven Optics. So thank you for all over 700 of you that participated in this competition. You voted for the top 25. We've gone through those top 25 and selected our top 10, which we're going to talk about tonight. We've got Mark, Jason, and myself on, and we're going to go through the names of our top 25 photographers. Please forgive us if we mispronounce. We're doing our best. We didn't have phonetic spelling, so some names are a guess. We're going to do the best we can. Again, thank you all for participating, and look forward to getting some very nice prizes out to our top 3 photographers. Gentlemen, take it away.
Okay. Photographer number 1, Frank Kenyon.
The second photographer, Raheel Azim.
The third photographer, Henrik Olsen.
Dominique Gatto.
Nathan Robinson.
Theodore Gonzalez.
Alessandra Rafa.
Lionel Dupertuis.
Barry Elkind.
Jeff Mallow.
Alexander Lazier.
Stu Smith.
Kathleen Everitt.
Karen Brendenbeck.
Andrew Interesano.
Rick Hess.
Colin Bruce.
Brance Anderson.
Jordi Guerrero Morera.
Tyler Caruth.
Marjorie Gould.
Robert Hawthorne.
Andrea Poggi.
William Santos.
Eric Williamson.
All right, that's our top 25 photographers. We're going to go ahead and start into our top 10. And number 10 image was from Jordi Guerrero Morera, and it was the zebras on the water hole. What did you guys like about the zebras?
For me, I really liked the fact that you catching all those zebras lined up like that is pretty unique, and it's always fun in nature to see that symmetry. So for me, that was what did it.
I agreed with that. It was pretty cool that there are 7 zebras lined up, and then just also the play with all their markings. When you look at it and study it throughout with the lines, the black and white, it's a rather unique image that way.
Yeah, the same. It was eye-catching. You could look at the manes and it almost looked like one continuous piece of hair or fur. But then you come down and get the separation with the heads in the water hole, and it was aesthetically, it was a fun image to look at. All right, number 9, Love at First Sight. Short-eared owl in flight, Raheel Kazim. How about that one, Mark?
Oh, just the composition. Fantastic. The owl's looking straight toward the photographer, and the position of the wings really exemplifies the flight of these birds, and the light, time of day, it's nice evening or morning light, and it's just the framing as well as the sharpness in the eyes and the time of day appealed to me. The background too. I like the fact that it's nice and soft that way. Highlights the bird.
Yeah, I would agree with everything Mark said. The only thing I'd add is just for us around here, that's a very difficult image to capture. I've seen a lot of shorter owl photos, but not many in-flight photos of them. So it's a neat photo.
Yeah, it's a rare opportunity in Wyoming as well. Just every few years we'll have an explosion, and so we'll get them, out where I am in the eastern part of the state. But fantastic job capturing that owl. Great light, solid image. Number 8, Foxtrot. Fox in the Snow, Alexander Lozier.
I'm always a sucker for fox in wintertime. Just something about that species set in a winterscape, winter setting. The falling snow adds to this image. The hesitancy in the animal, the eye contact. It's just a striking image.
Yeah, well done. And again, it's hard to not agree with everything Mark's saying, but I like the motion that I can see there too with his step. The snowfall, the flakes are just the right size. It can be often very difficult to photograph animals in the snow. You've got to kind of have the right distance to the animal, the right kind of snowfall for it to look good in an image, and I think it looks really well. It works really well in this image.
Yeah, solid image. The light is tough, and good job getting a sharp image, or as near as we can tell. These are very small files, so it was difficult for us to judge it based on sharpness. But it looks like a sharp image in low light like that. That's well done. And then to do it without getting the streaking snow with those bigger flakes falling. That was well done. Great shot. Number 7, The Turtle on the Log by Frank Kenyon. And this one, for me, the light was tough. However, the behavior was what kind of catches the eye. You get a little smile. I know you guys picked this one out right away. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, to me on this one, it's all about the behavior. This is one of those photos you could do like funny animals doing funny things. You could caption this a lot of different ways, right? It's kind of just a fun image, and to see a turtle with his back flipper up and his back foot up and his mouth open like that, it's just a fun, unique capture.
I love it. I love the humor potential of this one. How many times have we seen turtles sun basking, warming up on logs? All the time. But when have you ever had one looking? I've never seen one with the mouth open like that and the back flipper up. Those two things, this is begging for gift cards across the planet. I mean, caption this is fantastic. There's so many fun things we could come up with. So it was great to see an image that evoked humor and connected that way. To me, 100% on this one.
Excellent. Great shot, Frank. Number 6, The Fawn by Nathan Robinson. I apologize. Just cute. It's got the cuteness factor. Big-eyed fawn looking right at the camera. That's tough to beat.
I have a soft spot for whitetails. I do. And this image is cute, absolutely. The blue eyes, the expression, just like the fawn has just spotted Nathan, the soft background, the light is good. And yeah, I like the fact that it's off center a bit and that I like the composition as well as the seasonality. Yeah,
I agree. I like the amount of separation they were able to get, even though it's not at a low angle. That fawn can't be too far away from that grass in the background, but they still were able to get some good separation. And it's just cute. I mean, those big black eyes, it's just, how do you not that just pulls you right in.
Excellent. Number 5, Kingfisher, Alessandra Rafa. We've got a strong international contingent in this competition, and I appreciate you guys all competing, submitting. Alessandra, obviously, the reason that I lead with the international part is that's not a species that we find in North America. So we know it was taken elsewhere. And I believe, Jason, where did you say it was taken?
Yeah, that one was actually taken in Italy.
Cantina, Sicily, Italy.
Cantina, Sicily,
Yep.
Italy.
And on top of that, it was her first kingfisher encounter. That's pretty cool.
First kingfisher encounter, and it was a great portrait. Kingfishers are not always cooperative in my experience. I know I see a lot of great images, but there are people more fortunate than I. I haven't had a lot of luck with those guys. Mark, what'd you like about the kingfisher?
Beautiful bird. I love the plumage, the feathers, the light. Again, is so important in nature photography to have nice light, whether it's rich evening or morning light or diffused overcast light. I appreciate the light in this image and just the crispness of the bird itself and the highlight of the bird against the soft background.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I think it's one of those. It definitely tells a story. To me, this feels like it's a bird on a perch that's looking for food. It looks like it's fishing, and just the colors are really neat. And in my experience, is like Ron, I have spent some time trying to photograph kingfishers locally here, and I have had very limited luck with that. It's one of those species I think that you've got to do your homework, maybe set up a hide. You got to be undercover. They don't like movement, especially to try to get, more of a full frame type image. So awesome image. Great job.
All right. We're getting close to our top three. Number 4 is Sea Bears by Eric Williamson. And I will tell you, the top 4 were pretty tough to distinguish, especially with these small files, just to get right down to it. This is a great image and could have very easily been in the top 3. Again, remember always, photo competitions are subjective, and they're subjective in the moment. Tomorrow we could have had a different list, but at this time we saw this as number 4. And Eric, this is a great shot. 2 cubs just kind of side by side traveling the world just the way they do for their first couple of years. They don't tend to get very far from each other. They're each other's playmates, and you can kind of see that in this image. Their curiosity is a shared curiosity.
Yeah, I like the low angle. I like the depth. I like the motion I see. And I like the fact that the one bear is actually looking towards the camera and the other bear is not paying much attention. I think it's a neat image.
Definitely the photographer was getting wet in this scenario, earning the image, laying down. The low angle is a big deal. That's a big thing that makes this, and the fact that they're clamming and, learning together, this new great planet that they're on. It just resonates a lot of that storyline, which I appreciate as well. And also, as Jason pointed out, just the different attentions between the cubs, one watching and one looking ahead. Just it makes the image more dynamic for me that way as well. And I love the paw up, the water splashing, the movement, and the light, again, is good.
All right. Top 3.
Here we go.
Number
3. We go.
Number 3 is an image from Robert Hawthorne. Brown bear chasing salmon in Alaska, and you touched on storytelling just a second ago, and I believe that all these brown bears chasing salmon, these images all tell a story, and it's a story that's very important to the whole ecosystem. So to see an image that kind of captures all of it with the red salmon and also the bear kind of coming through the water, just for storytelling alone, this is a solid image.
I really liked it, how it showed the power of the bear. In so many images, we see these coastal brown bears leaping into the water to catch a salmon. This one is plowing through the water, and just the wave that's coming off its chest exemplifies the power of these beautiful bears. And to complement that, the color of the salmon. We've got the blue water, but the red salmon, just the timing of their coloration during the migration really sets this image off. And then even the detail of the one salmon's tail fin up, about to go down on the side of the image. And to conclude, once again, the light is fantastic on the time of day and when this image was taken. So those elements all resonated with me in picking this to be in third place in the top three. Deserves to be there.
Yeah, totally agree. To me, you just hit for me with wildlife, I love color. You definitely had amazing light to be able to get this kind of color, and the color of the salmon, to see that many salmon at the surface with the bear plowing through the water, like Mark mentioned, just love it. It's just a neat image. And I hope that bear didn't miss. I might have to reach out to Robert and ask if he actually caught one, because if he did, I don't know, he might not have a very long career fishing. But yeah, awesome shot. Deserves to be there.
Looks like he's made it this far. All right. Number 2, Mark.
I closed the spreadsheet
Number
again.
2, Mark.
Lionel Dupertuis. This was one of my favorite images of the top 25. It stood out to me right away. It's the stout or ermine in the snow in wintertime, standing up on its hind legs. What I liked about this image was the composition. The ermine is off-center, which is great for professional photographers. We're always trying to think of our marketplaces, and this would be a great 2-page spread. But more importantly, when you think about your subject, it's always better to leave more space, not always, but almost always better to leave more space in front of your subject than behind. It tells the story where the animal's going to and not where it's been. That being said, the snow in front of the ermine or stout is all pristine. So he's caught it just then. It hasn't been zigzagging back and forth. He's just caught it moving toward his camera at this time, which I appreciated that pristine snow in the foreground of the image, as well as the alertness of the cute little ermine. And the light as well is also excellent in this image. Exposure too.
Yeah, you can even see a little bit of motion if you really look at the image. You can see there's snow falling from his front feet. If you've ever tried to photograph an ermine, you know how incredibly hard it is to do. To get them sitting or standing still at any one moment for any length of time is just very, very difficult. But I love it. I love white on white. I think it's a hard image to not to compose, but to expose properly. Yeah. And I really like the way this one turned out. So
that's what I was going to comment on. White on white exposure is technically advanced to get a proper exposure, and the little flecks of snow, you can see those specular highlights in some of the snow, and that's kind of how you know that they probably didn't bring this up from a completely dark image, because you wouldn't necessarily have those little specular flecks in the image. So it's I can't see the raw file, haven't seen the raw file, but it's likely fairly close to perfect exposure the way that it was taken. And that tells a little bit of the story of the photographer to go along with the story of the image for me. All right. It's a moment we've all been waiting for the last 3 weeks. Number 1 is The Bee Eater by Kathleen Everitt. Kathleen is from the UK. Again, international winner. Thank you very much for entering. And this image I don't even know that you have to explain the story. It's a bee eater, but it's not eating a bee. They're still opportunistic, but capturing the flying insects is their forte, and she captured that whole story in one image.
Well, yeah, and if you look at it closely, it almost looks like the dragonfly is grabbing the bird's beak. I mean, just the timing of this image is pretty neat. And it looks very technically sound. It looks, the colors are nice. I like the depth, the soft background. And it's definitely a storyteller. This is one of those. I've seen a lot of bee eater images, but I don't think I personally have seen one, with a bug just about to be snagged. So I really, really like this one.
Congratulations on first place, because the timing is off the charts, in my opinion, on this one. The dragonfly, the detail in the wings, the venation, you can see the veins and all. Well, I don't know if it's veins. Is it veins texture in the wings? But just the detail of the image, how Jason pointed out that the dragonfly is just seemingly making contact with the bee eater's beak, and the coloration of the bird, the depth of field as well, so that the bird's eye is sharp and the dragonfly appears sharp as well, to capture all that with that clean background really highlights what's happening here. And it's all, to me, about timing and uniqueness and rarity for the opportunity. And it's not just a little bug. I mean, it's a dragonfly, so it's pretty cool. We know how quickly they can zip around as well. So to capture this moment in the way that she did is just fantastic. It's not just fantastic. It is fantastic.
Agreed.
So there you go. There's our top 10 and our top 3, which are the prize winners. LensCoat, Cotton Carrier, and we here at Wild and Exposed will be contacting the winners to get your prizes in the mail. International winners, make sure you give us a little bit of time, but we'll get those shipped out. And you've got some great prizes. LensCoat is offering a gift certificate, but the gift certificate will allow you to pretty much purchase anything that they have on their website, including the lens hide that you just pull right over the top of you. You can take it with you anywhere in a backpack, flip it over the top of you, and you've got a very portable blind. And they're incredible tools for all sorts of photography. And then Cotton Carrier, I know that they are giving away not only the harness, but also the Steady Shot, which is basically a platform that can sit right out in front of you. It's connected to the harness, but it basically gives you a monopod that's attached to your chest, so you don't have to worry about where it's going to go in the ground. You can mount it to where it's almost eye level. And again, a great tool to use in the field. And then, of course, we've got Wild and Exposed gear that's going out as well. So thanks to all the participants. This contest was put together by LensCoat, and we'd like to say thank you to Sherry Ott for doing the majority of the legwork on this, as well as LensCoat and Cotton Carrier. We had a ton of images. Out of the 700 images, there were a ton that we thought were very worthy of being in the top 25. And it's just a matter of, getting out there and asking people to vote. And these contests are about interaction. And that's what that's all about. And so that's why it was formatted like that. It's tough for us to be able to go through 700 images and whittle it down. So the votes narrowed it down, and then we chose the winners based on, the things that we described here today out of the top 25. So thank you for all the participants. Now, we've got another prize, and this was given to a random participant. And the winner of the Maven binoculars is David Pitts. David, those will be shipped off to you with some Wild and Exposed stickers, a hat, and t-shirt. And thank you for participating. All right, stay tuned as we have a full episode of the podcast that's coming in right behind this. Again, thanks for listening, as always, to Mark.
To your Wild and Exposed podcast. Once again, we at Wild and Exposed, LensCoat, and Cotton Carrier want to thank you for your involvement in this year's fun photo contest. We enjoyed the participation, the sharing, the camaraderie, and all of your images all across the board. It was fun. I hope that you enjoyed participating, sharing, seeing other photographers' work, and voting in this process. You can give us your feedback anytime on our Instagram at Wild and Exposed, or on Facebook. You can find more content for Wild and Exposed on our ever-growing website at wildandexposed.com. Check out our store there. We appreciate all of you that have bought our merchandise in the past and those that will buy it in the future, because that helps us to do what we love to do here and to bring you podcasts on a weekly basis. Our audio podcasts are uploaded on Tuesday, and our video podcasts on YouTube at Wild and Exposed Podcast on Friday. We appreciate you giving us positive reviews, a thumbs up, 5-star rating. Taking the time to do that helps us to gain traction in the busy world of podcasting. Until next time, you've been listening to Wild and Exposed Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
You've been listening to the Wild and Exposed podcast. If you haven't yet, please give us a rating and a review. And make sure you're subscribed so that you'll get every episode we produce as soon as we drop it. And as always, thanks for tuning in.
We're gonna make it someday. Nothing's gonna get in our way. We will be the biggest band in town. Round and round the world we'll go.